Bro, let me be real with you for a second. You've been out here grinding, hustling, doing all the right stuff, and you still got nothing to show for it. Your bank account's dry. Your love life's a dumpster fire. Your dreams feel further away than ever. And I know exactly why. It ain't bad luck. It ain't the economy. It's your mindset. And today, that changes. You're thirsty. That's your whole problem. You're out here chasing the bag, and the bag keeps running. You're chasing the girl, the guy, the clout, and it dips every single time. You're on a treadmill, fam, sweating, grinding, straight bleeding your soul dry, and you haven't moved an inch from where you started. The world played you. It sold you this lie that if you want something bad enough, you gotta obsess over it. Grind yourself into the dirt, scream into the universe until something claps back. But here's the cold, hard truth. The universe doesn't respond to begging. It responds to commanding. There is a specific headspace, a specific frequency of the mind that bends reality to its will. And this ain't some soft law of attraction, vision board, sage burning stuff. This is ancient. This is battle tested. This is the psychological blueprint that emperors used to run the whole known world, and that slaves used to mentally bust themselves free from chains. I'm talking about Stoicism, not the watered-down Instagram quote version with sunset pictures and generic captions. I'm talking about the weaponized, no-cap, take no prisoners philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. The kind that doesn't just survive pain, it eats pain for breakfast. If you want everything you've ever wanted out of this life, you gotta stop moving like a beggar and start operating like an emperor. You gotta flip the whole script on desire. Most people are slaves to what they want. By the time this video is done, you're gonna be the one holding the leash. I'm giving you the 7 Stoic rules that surgically remove the desperation that's been repelling success from your life. But heads up, this is gonna require you to kill the part of yourself that loves playing the victim. If you're ready to stop chasing and start commanding, lock in. Marcus Aurelius ran the greatest empire on the planet. Dude had access to every luxury, every pleasure, every flex known to mankind. He could have been out here wilding every night, but he was the most disciplined dude in all of Rome. How? He used a mental trick called objective representation. When he looked at his royal purple robes, the drip that men literally murdered each other over, he didn't see power. He told himself, this is just sheep's, wool soaked in shellfish blood. When he looked at some gourmet feast laid out for him, he didn't see a 5-star meal. He said, yo, this is literally a dead pig. This is a bird carcass. When he looked at romance and desire, he broke it all the way down to its most basic biological level. Was he being negative? Nah, he was dehypnotizing himself. And fam, you are hypnotized right now. You look at a sports car and you don't see metal and rubber. You see status. You see validation. You see the version of yourself that people finally respect. You look at that one person you're hung up on and you don't see a regular human being with insecurities and bad habits and weird food preferences. You see salvation. You see perfection in human form. That's exactly why you don't have what you want. You've put that thing, that car, that person, that job, that bag on a pedestal so high you can't even look at it without getting dizzy. You've hyped it up until it terrifies you. And when you glorify something, you hand it power over you. You become the subordinate. And real talk, power does not flow to the subordinate, ever. So if you want it, you gotta first crush the hype. Strip the thing down. You want money? Stop treating it like it's freedom and self-worth wrapped up in a bow. It's paper. It's digits on a screen. It's a tool. That's it. You feeling some type of way about that person? Stop putting them on a pedestal. They got morning breath. They've got petty insecurities. They've said dumb stuff at 2 a.m. They're a regular human. This technique feels cold. I know. But here's the wild paradox. The second you stop treating something like it's God, it becomes reachable. The dude who idolizes the deal blows the negotiation every single time. He's too pressed. He's smiling too hard. He's folding before the other side even asks. But the guy who sees it as just a business transaction, he's got all the leverage. He's willing to walk. And because he's willing to walk, everybody chases him. Start the optical strip down today. Look at the thing you think you can't live without. Describe it in the most boring, plain, raw terms possible. Kill the hype. When you see reality naked, you stop fearing it. And when you stop fearing it, you can finally take it. Here's why you're stressed out, anxious, and choking every time the pressure's on. Picture a soldier on a battlefield holding a bow. He's got his arrow. He pulls back the string. He accounts for the wind. He locks in his stance. He lets it fly. Once that arrow leaves his fingers, is it in his control anymore? Nope. Wind could knock it off course. The target could move. The arrow could snap mid-flight. If that archer's whole self-worth, his whole vibe depends on that arrow hitting the mark. He's a slave to the wind, fam. He's a slave to the wind, fam. He's shaking before he even shoots because he's trying to control something that ain't his to control. But if the archer's whole goal is just to shoot the cleanest shot possible, he's untouchable. This is called the dichotomy of control, and it's the reason you're miserable. You've attached your whole identity to outcomes. I need that promotion. I need them to say yes. I need this video to blow up. None of that is in your control. All of that belongs to someone else. The boss, the algorithm, the other person. When you pin your happiness on an outcome, you are literally handing your mental health to a stranger and saying, here, the Stoic move is to internalize the goal. Not, I want to get the job, but I want to give the most locked-in interview of my life. Not, I want someone to love me, but I want to become the kind of person who's genuinely worthy of love. You see how different that hits? When your focus is the process, the aim, the stance, the release, you operate on a different level. Your hand doesn't shake because you've already won the moment you took the shot. Whether the world rewards you or not is beside the point. And here's the kicker. The person who's focused on the perfect shot hits the target more often than the one sweating the result because they're not distracted by the fear of missing. The world can smell desperation like bloodhounds. No cap. It repels people. But when you show up, operating with the energy of someone who's doing their thing for the sake of excellence, not for clout, not for applause, you become magnetic. Look at your current obsession. Are you focused on the arrow or the target? If you're glued to the target, you're gambling your piece on a dice roll. Bring your eyes back to the bowstring. Perfect attention, perfect a release. Let it fly. Where it lands ain't your business. That's how you become dangerous. A person who doesn't care if they win or lose, only that they win hard, is someone nobody can intimidate. Weak people get destroyed by setbacks. Strong people survive them. But the Stoic straight up devours them. There's a fire inside you. Marcus Aurelius talked about the mind as a blazing fire. He said when you throw a small branch into a small fire, it smothers it. The fire dies. But when you throw a massive log into a roaring fire, what happens? It doesn't die, it engulfs the log. It uses that wood to burn bigger, hotter, brighter than ever. That's Amor Fati, loving your fate, not tolerating it, not putting up with it, loving it. To get everything you want out of this life, you gotta understand that the bad stuff is just fuel, bro. You will get rejected. You will get played. You will lose money. You will hit rock bottom. The average person looks at all of that and says, why me? This isn't fair. This is stopping me. The Stoic looks at all of that and says, say less, more fuel. This is the ultimate power reversal. Your competitor steals your idea. The victim cries foul. The Stoic says, bet. Now I'm forced to innovate. Now I gotta level up my product. The fact that they bit my style means I was on the right track. Your relationship falls apart. The victim falls apart with it. The Stoic says, okay, this exposed where my judgment was off. Now I get the solitude to rebuild. Now there's space for someone who actually aligns with who I'm becoming. When you move like this, you become genuinely scary to your haters. Because how do you beat someone who gets stronger every single time you try to take them down? You can't. If they ignore you, you use the silence to sharpen your focus. If they come at you, you use the conflict to strengthen your arguments. If they destroy everything you built, you use the rubble as a foundation for something fireproof. Stop labeling things as good or bad. There's only raw material. You're the alchemist. You've got the philosopher's stone in your head. You can turn the lead of suffering into the gold of character, but you gotta stop complaining. Every time you gripe about something, you're basically saying, I'm too soft to process this. You're saying, the log is too big for your fire. Burn it. Everything that happens to you is trying to teach you the lesson you keep avoiding. The obstacle isn't blocking the path. The obstacle is the path. Start small. Next time you hit a red light when you're already late, catch your reaction. Don't snap. Say good. Use it to practice patience. Train the muscle on small stuff so when the real tragedy hits, and it will, you don't crumble, you blaze. Anxiety is just the dizziness of someone who never prepared. You're scared of the future because you've been hoping things work out. And real talk, hope, used like that, is poison. Hope is passive. It's you sitting around, waiting for the world to be cool to you. The Stoic doesn't hope. The Stoic prepares. Seneca said to hold disaster up in front of your eyes before it arrives. This is called Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. Every morning before your day kicks off, run through everything going sideways. The deal falls through. Your car breaks down on the highway. Your reputation takes a hit. The person you trust most betrays you. That sounds dark. That sounds like you're inviting bad vibes. It's actually the exact opposite. It's inoculation. When you've already mentally walked through the worst-case scenario, you strip it of all its power. Fear lives in the unknown. Fear lives in what if. So answer the what if. What if I lose my job? Cool. I'd cut my expenses, hit up my network, finally launch that side hustle I've been sitting on, and survive. When you've looked a monster in the face and realized you'll make it out alive, the fear evaporates. And when the fear's gone, you can move with a boldness that most people will never understand. Think about any negotiation. Who wins, the person terrified of hearing no, or the person who's already visualized walking away and is totally chill with it? That second person wins every single time. By mentally rehearsing the loss, you make yourself immune to the threat of loss. You become the one who takes the big swing. You can bet big because you've already made peace with losing. Most people tiptoe through life terrified of breaking something. The Stoic stomps. Because even if the floor gives way, he already knows how to land. But there's a second layer most people miss. It's not just about preparing for disaster. It's about preparing for people. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself before every single day, "Today I'm going to run into people who are rude, ungrateful, disloyal, petty, and selfish." He didn't wake up hoping everyone would be chill. He expected the nonsense. He was already ready. If you roll into every day expecting people to be fair and reasonable, you're going to be mad and drained every single day of your life. But if you expect the backstabbing, if you expect the ignorance, nothing can throw you off your square. You just nod. Yeah, there's the disrespect I already saw coming, and keep moving. You don't take it personally. You don't get emotional. Stop being shocked that a snake bites. It's a snake. Stop being surprised that a liar lies. That's their job. Premeditate their behavior. When you're no longer caught off guard by the darkness of the world, you can navigate it with your eyes wide open. Seneca wrote an essay about the shortness of life. His conclusion? Life ain't short. We just flush it down the drain. You move like you've got to deal with death, like you've got unlimited time. So you procrastinate. You hold grudges. You waste hours beefing with strangers online. You lose sleep over what people you don't even like think about you. You're spending a currency you don't even have. Rule 5 is the most uncomfortable one. Memento mori. Remember, you're gonna die. And I'm not saying that to be edgy. I'm saying it because you need to hear it as a direct call to action. You could be gone from this planet right now. Let that real fact determine what you do, say, and think. If you knew with 100% certainty you were checking out next Tuesday, would you be stressing over that embarrassing thing you said in 8th grade? Would you care about some random person's opinion of you? Would you hesitate to shoot your shot? Make the ask. Start the business. Nah. You'd be ruthless. You'd be direct. You'd be moving with purpose every single day. The reason you don't have what you want is because you think you've got time to get it later. I'll start the grind next year. I'll get in shape after the holidays. I'll tell her how I feel when the timing is right. The timing is never right, fam. Time is just leaking out from under you every minute. Death is the ultimate clarifier. When you keep it close, when you feel that cold reminder that this ride ends, you stop tolerating mediocrity. You stop spending time with people who drain you. You stop doing work that bores you. You get possessed by urgency. And urgency attracts success. People follow someone who moves with real purpose. Opportunities find the person who doesn't hesitate. We're all dying. Some of us are just dying with intention. Don't be the person on their deathbed, haunted by the ghost of everything you could have done, should have done, would have done. Those are the saddest words that exist. Use death as your advisor. Whenever fear shows up to stop you, ask death, does this even matter? Death will tell you no. Only the action matters. Live like you're on borrowed time because, fam, you are. You're trapped in the maze. You're running through the daily grind. Commute, emails, arguments, overdraft notices, and from where you're standing, the walls look 100 feet high. Every little thing feels massive. That awkward pause in the meeting, catastrophic. The rejection text, you're treating it like a nuclear strike. This is called myopia, nearsightedness of the soul, and it is making you weak. When you're zoomed all the way in on the details, everything triggers you. A small dis feels like a declaration of war. A minor L feels like bankruptcy. You become reactive, and reactive people get played. Marcus Aurelius used a technique called the view from above. He'd close his eyes and imagine lifting up out of his own body. First he sees himself in his tent, then He zooms out to the whole Roman camp, then the battlefield, then the whole empire, then the curvature of the earth. From that altitude, what did he see? Armies fighting like ants over crumbs, borders that men died for looking like imaginary lines in the dirt, the biggest crises of his era shrinking into tiny blips in the ocean of time. When you adopt the God perspective, your anxiety gets cooked because you realize how small you actually are. That sounds like it should hurt. It does, and that's the whole point. Your ego is the source of your suffering. Your ego is the part of you hollering, "I'm important. My problems are special." They're not. You're a speck of dust on a rock spinning through infinite nothing. Your whole life is a flash of lightning in the dark. And when you truly lock that in, a strange kind of freedom fills you. If nothing is ultimately that deep, then you're free. Free to take the risk because failure is basically irrelevant on the cosmic scale. Free to speak your truth because the judgment of other people is just noise from other people, is just noise from other specks of dust. Free to chase your vision because you might as well play the game while you're here. Ever been around someone who's truly powerful? A self-made CEO, a real leader, someone who's built something from scratch? They're calm. They don't flinch when things go sideways. They don't panic when the market drops. Why? Because they operate on a wider timeline. They see the decade, not just the day. When you're locked into the view from above, you become the most grounded person in any room. And in a world full of anxious, short-sighted, reactive people, the person who can see the horizon is king. When you're in a negotiation, it's not life or death. Zoom out. It's one deal in a lifetime of deals. When you're in an argument with your partner, it's not the end of everything. Zoom out. It's a moment of friction in a long arc. This perspective gives you leverage. The person who needs the outcome the least controls the negotiation. And the person with the widest view never desperately needs the outcome because they can already see 1,000 other paths. Practice this every day. When you feel that tightness in your chest, that trapped in the maze feeling, close your eyes, fly up, look down, see your problem for what it actually is, a grain of sand, and then step on it. We made it. The final rule, the one that guards everything else. You think your house protects you. You think your savings account protects you. You think your clout and your reputation protect you. That's a lie. A storm wipes out the house. A hacker or a market crash wipes out the savings. One rumor, one bad take, one frame-up wipes out the reputation. If your security is built on external things, things that can be ripped away, then you're never actually safe. You're just running on luck, and luck always runs out. The Stoic builds a fortress that literally cannot be breached. Marcus Aurelius called it the inner citadel. It's the core of your mind that is entirely under your control. It's where you decide what things mean. You can't control what happens to you. You can only control your interpretation of what happens. Someone disrespects you. That's the event. Sound waves hitting your eardrums. I'm hurt. That's your judgment. That's the story you chose to write. The event was neutral. Your judgment made it painful. The inner citadel is the discipline of catching that judgment before it contaminates your whole vibe. It's the ability to say, this happened, but I'm not about to accept the narrative that this is a disaster. Think of your mind as a castle. Most people leave the drawbridge wide open 24/7. The news walks in and terrorizes them. Social media walks in and makes them feel broke and ugly. Their boss walks in and stresses them out before they've even had their coffee. They're occupied territory. They're slaves to whoever walks through the door next. The Stoic raises the drawbridge. He stands at the gate. He interrogates every thought, trying to walk in. You say you're a catastrophe? Show me your credentials. Are you actually a catastrophe? Or are you just a change of plans? You say you're an insult? Let me check. Does this person's opinion actually change my character? Nah. Then you're noise. Denied. When you build the inner citadel, you become genuinely invincible. Not because you can't get hit, but because you can't be hurt at your core. You could get locked up like James Stockdale and still be free inside your own head. You could lose everything Seneca style and still be rich in spirit. You could be surrounded by complete chaos and still be at peace. How does this help you get what you want? It makes you literally unstoppable. Most people tap out when they catch an L. They fold when they get discouraged. They dip when the environment gets hostile. If you've got a fortified inner citadel, you don't stop. You keep pushing because nothing external can reach your internal drive. People sense this too. They can feel when someone has a locked-in frame. It's intimidating. It's magnetic. They know they can't manipulate you. They can't guilt trip you. They can't buy you. They can't shake you. And because they can't control you, they'll try to align with you. Power respects power. When you've got the inner citadel, you don't need the world to tell you you're worth something. You already know. And the wild, ironic twist of the Stoic path. The moment you genuinely stop needing the world's validation, that's the exact moment the world starts handing it to you by the truckload. By proving you don't need it, you prove you deserve it. Here's your 7 rules. The optical strip down. See things as they actually are, not how the world hyped them up. The archer's paradox. Lock in on the shot, not the scoreboard. The alchemical fire. Your obstacles are your fuel, not your excuse. The premeditation of evil. Visualize the worst so fear loses its grip. The discipline of time. Let death create your urgency. The view from above. Zoom out and destroy your anxiety. The inner citadel. Guard your mind like it's the most valuable real estate on earth. But knowing these 7 rules means absolutely nothing. Philosophy ain't a library you hang out in. It's a gym. You don't actually know Stoicism until you've used it while your hands are shaking. You don't know it until you've used it face down on your bathroom floor at 3 a.m. wondering how things got this bad. It's a muscle. And right now, that muscle is atrophied from years of being reactive, emotional, and soft. When you first try to strip the glamour from your desires, you'll feel empty. You'll wonder, if I'm not obsessing over this, do I even actually want it? Yes, you will want it purely, without the sickness of attachment dragging on it. When you first try to visualize the worst-case scenario, your chest will tighten. You'll want to look away. Don't. Stare at the monster until it becomes a pet. This is the outlier path. Most people are out here looking for the shortcut, the hack, the secret to manifesting millions without putting in the reps. The Stoic knows the truth. The work I is the hack. The discipline I is the abundance. And when you finally get everything you've been grinding for, the bag, the freedom, the love, the recognition, you'll get the final joke the universe has been holding on to. The cars, the money, the applause. They're nice, genuinely. But they are not the prize. The prize is who you had to become to get them. The prize is the fortress. The prize is the fire. The prize is looking in the mirror and seeing a sovereign, not a slave. And once you are a sovereign, all the external trophies are just toys. You can enjoy them. You can play with them. but you'll never break down when they're gone. There's one warning I need to leave you with. If you actually apply these rules, for real, not just for a week, you will change. And when you change, you will lose people. The friends who bond over complaining, the ones who love the victim narrative, the ones who thrive on drama, they will call you cold. They will say you've changed like it's a diss. They will try to drag you back into the mud because your stability exposes their chaos. Your discipline puts a mirror on their weakness. You'll be alone for a minute. The air is thin at the top of the mountain. It gets cold up there. But the view, fam, the view is worth every bit of it. You've got a choice to make today. Do you want the warmth of the crowd, huddled together in fear, validating each other's excuses? Or do you want the solitude of the emperor? You can't have both. To get everything you want, you have to be willing to lose everything you thought you needed. Most people aren't built for that. But if you're still here, still locked in, maybe you're cut different. Maybe you're actually ready to stop bleeding and start building. The empire of the mind is waiting. The gates are open. Walk through.